Granted.
That's what
Right, did you hear from Carlos Brown at all today? Did you hear from Carlos at all today? Oh, he'd be happy that he got put back out, or he got
It was discussed.
I suspect you.
Nominating committee discussed. It was not.
no surprises.
Oh, that was a lot better than 5.5.
The first one, yeah. So like what full shift. I'd like to call the July 16th, 2021 Finance Committee meeting of the Cvta to order. I want to welcome everyone to this July Cvta Finance Committee meeting, and it's been a pleasure to serve as the Finance Chair of the Central Virginia Transportation Authority for the course of the last fiscal year. Today, we have called a special meeting to comply with our bylaws and select FY22 Chair and Vice Chair of the Finance Committee. So with that, let's make our way through the agenda. Mr. Parsons, would you certify that we have a quorum?
Yes, sir, we do have a quorum.
We do have a quorum, so we will now move on to the rest of our agenda. First up is the consideration of amendments on the action meeting agenda. I have no changes to the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? There's a motion on the floor to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. The agenda is approved. We'll move to item 2, the approval of the May 12th, 2021 Cvta Finance Committee action meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the Finance Committee meeting minutes? There's a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly seconded. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The ayes have it. The meeting minutes have been approved. We'll now move to the public comment portion of the meeting. Is there anyone, the public, who wishes to offer comments by email or in person?
We have not received prior requests for public comment.
There are no prior requests for public comment. We'll move on to item 4 on the agenda. Item 4 is the Finance Committee meeting's Chairman's report. As this time, I do not have a report. I thought it was a great meeting we had previously. Glad you all stuck around for this session as well. I've enjoyed the last fiscal year being the chair of this fine committee because of the individuals who I continue to work with, Mr. Peterson, Mr. Thornton, Mr. Carroll, and also the team at Plan RBA as well. Thank you all for your support of the course of the last fiscal year. Oh, and Carlos Brown, who's not here as well. Who's always a presence virtually, but he's not here with us today. It's been a pleasure to serve alongside such an august crew of individuals, and so let's continue our work. With that, I'll move on to item 5, the election of the Finance Committee Chair and Vice Chair. Are there any nominations?
Mr. Chair, I vote for you to continue in your seat.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson.
Second.
I accept. Is there been a motion and it's been seconded? Is it a roll call vote or is it all? Ms. Mueller, can we have a roll call?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Chesapeake County, Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Howard County Vice Chair Peterson.
Aye.
Michael County, Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
Richmond, Mr. Stone.
Aye. Now, thank you for your support for me again for another fiscal year. As I said, I really do appreciate you guys' help and support over the course of the last year. Looking forward to another eventful year as we continue to build upon our success from the last fiscal year. Now, we'll open nominations up for for the position of vice chair. I'd like to take the privilege to nominate my friend Canova Peterson to serve as vice chair for the Finance Committee. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion and as a second, maybe we have a roll call vote.
Mr. Chair, Trustee County, Mr.
Aye.
Carroll. Hanover County Vice Chair Peterson.
Aye.
Randall County, Mr. Thornton.
Aye.
And City of Richmond, Chair Stone.
Aye. Mr. Peterson, any comments?
I just appreciate the confidence that have shown both the CVTA by putting me on this committee and the confidence that you've shown here in this committee. And the ability to assist you in the challenge.
Well, thank you, Mr. Peterson. I will say that you have a keen eye for the numbers, and I think, thank you for your service to this committee. Thank you. The nominations are now closed. We'll now move to item 6 on the agenda, that is the future meeting schedule and topics. These dates are before you. We discussed them in the full body meeting. You should have them in your packet as well. They lay out the technical advisory, the finance committee, the full authority meetings as well moving forward. Our next meeting will be August 11th. August 11th. So we're going to. Ms. Cedar?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to call out one thing on the calendar after it was published. We do know that January 12th is the first day of the General Assembly session. And so thought that it might be wise, we can take time to reschedule that with your calendars, but wanted to call that out to you, that date likely should be changed. But otherwise, this was the staff recommended set of dates, and as you noted, August 11th will be the next committee meeting. And we can work with you, Mr. Chair, on the location.
And Mr. Carroll, I have a question about time.
So it has been meeting at 8:30 in the morning. If that is still okay with everyone, we can continue with that time.
Any questions about the future meeting schedule? Thank you, Ms. Gill. We'll move on to other business on our agenda. Item 7 is the CVTA Finance Committee member comments. Before we entertain comments today, I would like to welcome Mr. Mike Garber with PD Mayors. He will be discussing the engagement letter for the fiscal year 2021 CVTA audit process. Mr. Garber?
Can I join you guys?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Chair and everyone in the committee. Let me just do a brief introduction of myself and our firm, because a lot of you don't know who we are, and some of you I don't think I've had the pleasure to meet yet. But I'm Mike Garber. I'm your audit partner in charge of the audit for the CVTA. I think we've got the contract for 2 or 3 years, I believe. I have been doing local government auditing since 1993. So starting my 28th year of doing this, so I have a lot of experience in doing local government auditing. Our firm also audits HR TAC. We also audit NBTA. So the other 2 large organizations that do what you do, we also audit them as well. And so I think we can offer some advice and hopefully some counseling along the way if needed. I know this group can do a lot on their own, but we're there to help if necessary. Our firm is a large East Coast regional firm. We have offices in Virginia, North Carolina, and Maryland. It's ranked in the top 100 in the nation. I don't know the number, somewhere in the mid 80s. And our firm as a whole has been doing local government work for probably over the last 40 to 45 years. So we have a lot of experience in doing what you do and what you all do a lot of times for your jurisdictions as well. So I appreciate the time here this morning. I always like to meet with an audit or finance committee as we start our audit process. I don't know what roles each of you serve at your other jurisdictions, but if you are on your audit finance committees, then you probably meet with your auditors before the audit there as well and post audit to go over everything that's happened throughout the process. And so one of the things that I always like to do is open the floor up to you and ask you if there are concerns that you have, issues and things that you want me to look at while we're doing the audit. Now, we're sitting in a public session, we've got cameras rolling, things of that nature. And so if there are things that you want me to look at when you're doing our work, now may not necessarily be the best time to ask you to look at those things. But I handed out some cards. I have some some more cards with me with my email, phone number, and so forth, and contact information. So as far as I'm concerned, my role today is just to open this communication between us, introduce myself to you, and let you know that if there are areas that you want us to focus on during the audit, please let me know. I might suggest going forward as we have these meetings, it's difficult today certainly to do that, but we might want to think about having a closed session to meet with the auditors so that we can have maybe more of a dialogue and things of that nature. We do that with almost all of our other clients where management is not in the room. Citizens are not in the room, so we can have open dialogue with the auditors. So something to consider for some future finance meetings where you want me to come. Don't have to, but something to consider.
Mr. Dollar,
Yes, sir.
if I were to ask the question, are there any pitfalls that an organization like this should try to avoid? What would you say?
I like what I've already heard this morning in the first meeting. It gives me as an auditor some comfort that you already hired someone else to take a look at the 15% and just the approvals. And so as I said, I'm glad I was here early this morning to hear that you actually had another consultant looking at those types of things. The other entities, I would say, looking at NVTA, it took them a while to get up and running, to get the projects assigned, and to understand that we will accumulate a lot of funds that to spend through our taxing dollars and things of that nature. And I think it's important to make sure that we, as we start accumulating those funds and understand how much we'll collect on a monthly basis and an annual basis, that we do start identifying projects to earmark those funds for. So the pitfall might just be making sure that our citizenry knows we're collecting these funds. It's a new tax, and we know where we're going to spend it so they can see where it's going to get spent as well. HR tax a little bit different because they've got a $6 billion tunnel to build. Everybody knows where their funds are going for the next several decades of collection to pay those bonds and things that are going to build those tunnels. But as NVTA started out, it was a little slower to try to earmark those projects and get going. They're there now. And so I know our citizens want to see, I'm paying these extra dollars worth, and then see the progress. Other than that, dealing with all the jurisdictions, everyone always has projects that they need and want done. And there is a limited number of dollars to do that. And just to try to prioritize the best we can to serve everyone.
Thank you. As a follow-up to, as an organization continues to grow, and you mentioned bonding, getting into things like that, are there any suggestions in your part that could be helpful to a group like ours?
As far as
we are planning to put things like that in place.
Sure. I think this group and as the large localities that you are, you're used to issuing the bonds, dealing with bond counsel, dealing with your attorneys and assistants there. They're going to offer you all a lot of advice on how to do that. As you look at larger projects, it's going to take time to get those things in place. So I think it's important for everybody to understand that it just takes time as well. But if we do start looking at some really, really large projects, one thing that I will point out to you, it's happened at HR TAC, it has not happened at NVTA. As you look at projects that may revert to the state of Virginia, that may become their assets versus the cities or the counties or the towns' assets. At some point, if it's significant enough, Cvta could become a component unit of the state of Virginia and get reported in the Commonwealth's financial statement. So as you're looking at projects and things of that nature, it won't take away your ability to choose your projects to do what you want with these funds. They won't have any say in that. It doesn't change how you do things. But your financial reporting deadline and things of that nature may change. You'll have a little more oversight on what's going on if the projects that you do become to the point where the Department of Accounts thinks that you should become part of their financial statements. It won't change the flow of the dollars. It doesn't change how you spend them. So you still have that autonomy to do what you want. So it's very important to understand that. But that could happen in the future.
Mr. Peterson.
I guess this is just getting down to the weeds. We're piggybacking on the city for your service. Yeah, same time for.
That's the auditor of public accounts of the state.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I take it back. I know our finance is being handled through agreements with Chester. I didn't know whether there was going to be any conflict with that, and the fact that Chesterfield has their own audit, so. Is there? Track my
If they want to come back on this one, give me a chance, it'd be great.
Well, yeah, I will say that we have been able to navigate the first year of the inception of Cvta. I think because we all come from localities that have strong financial practices, strong financial teams. And I think having a strong partner in the world of auditing is also necessary for us to have a strong financial team. So we welcome your services, and it's my hope that everyone gets a business card from Mr. Garber as well. If they don't have one already. Mr. Garber, I did recognize a familiar address on that business card in Harrisburg, Virginia.
Yes, sir.
James Madison University alum, so
Go Dukes.
Go Dukes, South Main Street is a very familiar one.
Excellent. Good.
Thank you for making the drive.
Oh, absolutely. It worked out perfectly. I had to be down in the Hampton Roads Planning District yesterday for a meeting, so. Worked out real well.
Go Dukes. Any further questions for Mr. Garber? Seeing none, Mr. Garber, thank you so much for the
Thank
time.
you all. And again, if there's anything at all that I can do or questions I can answer, please reach out to me.
Okay. Thank you. Members, again, the next meeting is August 11th, 2021. I look forward to seeing you all there. Location, Ms. Heater, on the August 11th meeting here? Sure. We'll do it right here. Everybody good with that? All right. With that, there's no further items on the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn? So moved. We are adjourned. Thank you. All right.
That's a big difference.
What? Hour and a half. Well, it's good to.